Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be a little bit interesting. So this is a clip that I've taken from my live stream on Twitch. Feel free to check me out, subscribe and everything. I will do most of my live writing sessions there. I will not be putting all the live writing sessions to YouTube because some of them are way too long and I don't really have time to edit videos, so I will export those shorter clips to YouTube, so feel free to check it out anytime and follow my social medias for updates. So today's vlog video is going to be about not writing. It's more geared towards my personal experience and explaining what happened while I was writing the latest chapter to Love Journal. So for those of you, it should have been published by now. It's chapter 206 about kitchen ghosts. The title is Kitchen Ghosts, so if you want to know more about it, you can feel free to check it out. The links are in the description. It's called Love Journal, as told by an emotionally constipated half genius. Yes, that is the title. Alright, so without further ado, let's get to how I actually wrote that chapter. So in that chapter, many of you would have already realized that there is a Fujoshi awakening moment, and I'm not going to spoil any more than that. But I'm basically a Fujoshi. If you don't know yet, I'm a hardcore supporter of BL, Boys Love, Yaoi, you name it. Yes, so that was an unexpected turn, but you know, it made the story less serious in a sense, because I am actually going to a more serious plot where Anastasia and the antagonist and everyone is coming in. So you will see lesser of these moments right now. And the one that I struggled with most during this chapter of Kitchen Ghost was the actual cooking. So why do I struggle so much with it is because, first and foremost, I am talented in many areas, but the kitchen is not one of them. So to speak, I am actually banned from kitchens. I will tell you slowly how it came to be, but first let me just go through what I did during this chapter, okay? So when I was doing this chapter and I realized I wanted to make something with potatoes, because potatoes are like the simplest thing you can ever make for dinner, right? You're wrong. Okay, for me, it was like kind of a rocket science moment. Like, what do I do with potatoes? I went on Google, okay? You can see it in the stream, the full stream. I went on Google. I went to research recipes. I had no freaking clue what all those things were. I was like, you need an oven? And by the way, I am the kind of person who doesn't know the difference between an oven and a microwave oven. So I'm the kind of person who will stick plastic containers in an oven thinking that you put it in for 2 minutes and it will be heated up. And when I first used the microwave oven, I didn't know how long to put it. I put it for 10 minutes and yeah, you can guess. Things start catching fire, right? That was in the office pantry, okay? Yes, so I'm basically banned from the kitchen for several reasons, and this is probably one of them. I don't own a microwave oven. I have an oven and I only use it for instant pizza. So the only thing that I can do in a kitchen is make instant food, something that's not rocket science basically, and thankfully I live in the 21st century, so I don't have to worry about it. Right, so while writing this chapter, here are some of the things I did, okay, in that 2 hours to write a chapter. And knowing me, I don't take 2 hours for no good reason to write a single chapter, okay? I usually do it faster. I have a very good typing speed, and when things flow, I can easily write 500 words in 15 minutes, okay? It should have been done in less than an hour, but I took 2 hours because I had to research. I called my friend in real life over the phone to ask her what kind of recipes I can, like, you know, make out of potatoes for dinner. She was like, oh, you can do mashed potatoes. It's simple with some bacon. And I was just like, okay, list me the steps. So what you will be seeing on screen are the steps that I confirmed over 2 phone calls with my friend who was outside running errands and stuff like that. So yeah, she verbally told me everything, like how I could do it. And then while I was writing it, I went into another trouble. Like I got another roadblock. I was like, okay, do I leave the lid like open or closed, or how do I, you know, use the right words to describe the shapes that you cut it into, stuff like that. So I started talking to some online friends from Argentina, and she told me that it sounded weird. So I had to revise it, and I put a disclaimer there. For those of you who think that I'm a very good cook and that I write very good cooking scenes, please take everything with a pinch of salt. No pun intended, but because I don't exactly know if this is the kind of thing that works in the kitchen. I'm not a kitchen person. I made this up, it's fiction. So while it sounds like it's real, please do your own research and ask your mom or anybody who actually cooks for real whether it's applicable before you try, because I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's simple in the first place. I spent so long researching it, you have no idea. And I talked to other web novel authors in the Discord channel, and I asked them for, help. Like, do I put the lid on when I'm, frying stuff? Like, I'm frying bacon, right? Should I actually put the lid on? Because I know I have been hit by oil splashes, and I tell you, that is like one of the worst things that ever happened. And yeah, I had to go to the doctors because I panicked, I messed up, and then I hit the edge of the pan and I got really bad burn. Like, your skin gets stuck to the pan because it was so hot. That kind of burn. Yeah, I ever had that before. Like, I was very young that time. Maybe in middle school, somewhere there. Yeah, so that was my experience in cooking. And oops. And that's not the only experience in cooking, okay? So my journey of cooking started when I was like 8, This is when your parents start thinking, okay, you're old enough to be in the kitchen. Let's teach you basic stuff like how to fry an egg. So my first lesson was how to fry an egg. So before you have to learn how to fry an egg, you have to learn how to operate the stove. And I have a gas stove, okay? For those of you who know what gas stoves are, they're the kind that you have to turn the knob, wait for the gas to come out, and then hit the starter so that the fire gets started. That's how you turn on a gas stove, okay? I spent 2 lessons with my dad getting scolded and not knowing what I did wrong because I had so many gas explosions. My fringe, my hair was singed, like it caught fire, literally caught fire. You had no idea. It was so scary. And I was short, okay? The gas stove was tall. I had to stand on a stool and I had to operate all these complex machineries. I was like, no thank you. That's my very first attempt with cooking. And in my defense, I followed the cookbook. I followed instructions. So my dad was like, turn on the stove, put some oil, and put the egg in the pan. And then you flip it when it's brown so that it doesn't stick and stuff like that. Okay. I was like, well, that sounds fairly simple. Let's do it. So I did it. And I didn't have enough common sense. I think maybe this is a problem with geniuses, because you are smart in some areas and in other areas you are completely lacking. So instead of being a normal person, taking the egg and cracking it into the pan, I took the egg from the shell, from the carton. I just left it in the middle of the pan. I didn't crack it. It was like whole egg, with the shell and everything. I don't know why I did that. I was probably not in the right frame of mind, because I was getting scolded left and right by my dad, who was ready to eat me or something. That was my very first cooking lesson, okay? So from then on, I didn't like cooking, and I've never, I had too many gas explosions. So the house, the walls were sooted and stuff like that. I have no idea how many times it's been whitewashed. So dad kind of banned me from that. And when I was 13 or 14 years old, middle school, they had this home economic class where the teacher teaches you how to cook step by step with 40 other students, and then you had cooking partners and stuff like that. So I had a cooking partner, and then both of us were supposed to make this mushroom soup. And if you know mushroom soup from Campbell, that's very simple. You just pour it out from a can, put some water in it, put seasoning if you want, and then boil it, and then ta-da, it's done. So the seasoning that we were meant to be putting in based on the textbook, after we chopped the mushrooms. So my friend chopped the mushrooms, I was meant to get the salt. And the salt was in the center of this table in the classroom, but I didn't know. I thought that, she had already gotten it because she got the mushrooms. She should have just grabbed everything there, right? That's what I assumed. So I saw this white powdery substance by the side. I don't know why it was there, but it was there. So I assumed it was salt, and I put it in after she put in the mushrooms, because it was beginning to get hot. The pan was getting hot and stuff like that. So I put it in, and then it wouldn't stop bubbling, and I was like, what the heck? So my teacher walked past, she's like, turn off the heat. I was like, okay, I turned off the heat. It wouldn't stop bubbling, it bubbled over, and I was like, what's going on? And then she asked, what did you put in? I said, I put in salt. And then my friend looked at me confused. She's like, you put in salt? We didn't get salt. I was like, it's there, isn't it? And then I pointed to the white substance. Guess what that was? soap powder. I don't know who in their right mind put soap powder in their home economics room, but then I thought it was salt because I had no cooking sense, you see. And anything that's white that looks like powder should have been salt. Like, why would there be soap powder in there? So that was one of the things that made people highly doubt it. But to the irony, I actually got first place and the highest marks in home econs because the teacher did not do taste tests. It looked good, whatever I did, and I passed my theory with full marks. So I don't know, the education system is just fucked up. And then the other incident from cooking class during home economics as well is muffins. Like, you have to learn how to bake as well. So I had no problem with the batter and everything. Like, I did martial arts, I had enough strength for all that. But the one thing that I didn't account for was how it caught fire in the oven. You had to bring the fire extinguisher out and everything because I had no idea. Things are not supposed to be catching fire in the oven for as far as I know. Like, nobody else has a problem with it but me. Okay, maybe the guys had some problem with fried rice because their wok caught fire. I don't know how. They were trying to do a flip and then the whole thing caught fire. So that was funny as well. I'm not the only one who failed at, practical home economics. But this is really something. So this is during school days. So out of school days, you can expect my sense of judgment with heat and timing is not there. So stuff like food poisoning, the food being raw or half cooked, and even charred things at barbecue sessions. Yeah, those are reasons. But it shouldn't have gotten me banned, right? So what got me banned, other than the gas explosions, is me burning pots and me breaking spoons. So the story about breaking spoons is also something that's strange. Because I visited my friend who has been hit by a car, so I was there to check up on her. And her mom was cooking, so I thought since I'm a guest, I might as well help out, with dinner since I'm staying. So I said, okay, where are your cutleries, your utensils? I'll lay the table. So there was 7 spoons because there were 7 people, right? And it was all those Chinese porcelain soup spoons, those heavy ones. And before you eat, you usually have the habit of rinsing it because if you have guests, it's not the usual number of spoons that you use. You take it from like a dusty drawer. So I was like washing it, and then I was bringing it over to the table when I dropped it because it was wet. You see, wet porcelain is very slippery, and I have very small hands, and I was holding all 7 of them in a stack. So when it slipped, all 7 of them crashed onto the floor. It was like a huge sound, and it was pin drop silence. I was like, oh shit, I was in somebody else's house and I was invited to dinner and I broke their spoons. Like, what? Okay, to be exact, I dropped all 7 spoons. I broke 4 out of 7. Okay, so they had 3 spoons left. So you can kind of expect I didn't get kicked out because I was lucky and those people were nice. They were like, what which kind of means like, like striking the lottery or something. They were celebrating. They were like, there's a reason for everything that happens, her uncle told me. He said something like, since it's broken, it's time to get a new set. Like, they were optimistic people, and I was lucky. If I did this anywhere else, if I did this at home, my dad will flay me and skin me alive. So yeah, this is one of the reasons. But I was banned from their kitchen after that, of course. Needless to say, and then I completely forgot that I broke their spoons earlier after dinner. So I offered to clear the table and wash the place, and immediately everyone was like, no, it's okay. Yeah, that was me. I don't know how I'm still alive, but yeah. So the list of kitchens that I'm currently banned from is my dad's kitchen at home. So I'm only allowed to make instant food and food that will not cause gas explosions and stuff like that, the dangerous stuff. I'm also banned from my friend's kitchen for obvious reasons because they don't want me breaking no more things. I'm banned from my cousin's kitchen as well because I tried to help, but no, I burnt the pot. It was boiling, okay? I don't know how boiling water can, just get... I burned the pot with boiling water. She was steaming something. I'm banned also from my ex-boyfriend's kitchen because I was helping his mom out. And on the second day, she banned me from the kitchen because she almost had a heart attack when she saw how I used the knife. I'm like, I've never lost a finger throughout all these years, and I've been using it this way. And she's like, no, it's okay. Will kill me. I'm gonna censor that out, okay? She's like, she's gonna kill me if you know, if I, you know, yeah. Anyways, they freaked out so bad that I was banned. And yes, that was the story of how I got banned from a kitchen and how I have no cooking talent. So can you imagine me, someone who completely cannot cook, actually write a chapter like this? If it sounded convincing, then I'll have to thank you, because I did put in a lot of effort there. But I still like to make a disclaimer. Please don't follow what I do. Please don't take everything I wrote in that story as, like, you know, the gospel or something. No, I can't cook. End of story. I can't cook. Okay, that's the bottom line. So whatever that's written there is pure fiction based on my imagination. And I would like to say, if I have another boyfriend, if I have a lover, if I'm gonna marry someone, they had better be able to cook, because I cannot cook to save my life. Humanity is gonna die if I'm the only cook left alive. That's all I have to say. Thanks for sticking around. Do check out my other works. I have Patreon, I have Ko-fi. It doesn't take a lot, but every donation counts. It goes a long way. I only have a few more months before I have to quit being a writer if I can't make a living out of it, because it's an agreement with my father. I'll have to go back to working full time, and I wouldn't have the time to, you know, do the things I like right now with writing. So with that, I would like to end this video. I will be making new videos, so do subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.